My name's Tim. I brought up in a Christian family, went to church throughout my youth, went to all the Sunday schools and youth groups, and that was great. And then I went to Exeter University to study mechanical engineering, and all the other priorities of uni of work and careers and distractions and sports teams, they all became more of a priority, and church became a bit of a check box. I didn't settle in anywhere. I went to a few different ones fairly regularly, but it was just to sort of to say I'd been. It wasn't really, I never was settled anywhere, and I didn't feel part of church whilst I was there. So yeah, my friend had been coming along to Metro a little bit in the evenings and invited me along, and I decided that sounds interesting, because I hadn't resettled into my home church that I'd been going to before, because a lot of people that I went with before university weren't going anymore. So when I got invited to Metro, I thought, yeah, let's give that a go. I really enjoyed it and started coming regularly. Got involved a little bit more, started helping with the welcome team, and sort of for the first time since before university, it was starting to feel like a church I felt at home in and really wanted to go to on Sunday evenings. A couple of months ago, Philip was talking about knowing Christ and goals in life and what was important, and I realised that I was thinking about things that were sort of the world, things like jobs and careers and money. Those were what I was thinking of, and a phrase Philip said was just, I want to know Jesus, and it sort of struck me that I wanted to put that as the priority and sort of commit to that before I started worrying about anything that was sort of self-centred. I want my baptism to symbolise the commitment to a relationship with Jesus, and for that to grow throughout the rest of my life, and to sort of just turn away from thinking quite so self-centredly about other things, to make decisions for Jesus rather than for me.
My name's John. I grew up in church. I grew up in a Christian family, and I grew up in a very kind of Christian environment. I went to a Christian school up until I was about 16 years old, at which point I kind of fell away from that. I stopped going to church, I turned away from faith, and I became an atheist. Things in my life didn't go as I'd originally planned. I decided to drop out of my A-levels. I ended up running away from home when I was 17 years old, and I just didn't really know how to move forward in my life, what I wanted to do. I went to study maths at university originally, because it seemed like a good choice. It seemed like the kind of sensible thing to do. But while doing that, I started making money from gambling, from betting on football. And I would say I got addicted to gambling, but not in the way that people usually do. I started making a lot of money from it. And then that's when things got quite bad, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but basically I just found, again, meaninglessness in it, or it didn't really make any sense to me. When Metro first started, I came along to the first one, and from there I knew that was the church I wanted to be at, the church I wanted to discover, if this was true or not. It was a long journey trying to figure out if Christianity was true, whether it made sense. I tried other avenues too. I looked into New Age spirituality, and I looked into Buddhism as well. I was going to a Buddhism class on a Monday and then going to Metro on a Sunday. And although there was quite a contrast, I eventually other things fell away, and I just stayed at church. When I first started looking at Christianity, I came at it from a very kind of skeptical frame. I tried looking at the philosophy, the science, the historical evidence, trying to look at it from a very skeptical way, asking critical questions. And that helped at first, and actually I found some good answers to those things. But it wasn't, that was a good start, but it wasn't until actually I had the experience of God, the experience of just walking into church and just having that community and having that joy and that peace and love, just being around other Christians. That's what makes it real. You can go through the kind of science and philosophy and looking at it from that perspective, but it's not the whole picture. You can't just get the whole you can't just get the whole idea of what God's like just from reading a book. There are just countless times where I've asked God to reveal himself to me, to experience him. And it's very strange to say, but I feel as though I've physically encountered God. I'm getting baptized because I don't want to keep going in and out of this. I'm getting baptized because I want to commit my life to Jesus. I want to commit my life to this. This is me saying, this is a new start for me. This is what I want to do with my life. I have these passions, these joys that I'm pursuing in my career, but this is the main thing. This is the center of my life through which everything else makes sense.